Wasn't the sound of the Fratzonic chamber.
So even here, hold on, look, there's so much in this little part here.
Is going to redefine what it means to never lift.
Do you even lift, brah?
No.
When Dodge is making Dodges, Dodge buyers, Dodge dealers. This is Rip Roaring Garage. I'm Alex, and we're going to be talking about the video Dodge just put out, but I got to ask you one thing. Are you a man of Mopar? Do you know your brotherhood history, your Pentastar trivia, your muscle car workouts? Then no doubt you caught some of the Easter eggs in this recently dropped video. But sadly, there's more questions and head scratchers for us Moparmen. I kind of like that. So if you want to know every little detail in this recently dropped video, stick around because I'm about to dive deep into this beehive.
The thing you need to know about the Dodge brand is that we always get to where we're going without ever forgetting where we've been. The miles under our belts, the 100+ years of know-how and swagger fuels us with the highest octane, gives us the greatest charge, and always will.
I'm gonna try to give Kiniskis the benefit of the doubt, because the reality is he's not the boss. You know, Comrade Carlos, which Tavares literally means comrade, that Euro overlord. So we're starting off. So supposedly this is like going back in time, 1910, Hamtramck, Detroit. Yeah, EV, electric, lightning. Yeah, oh, okay. I don't know what you're trying to say about us Dodge owners. That we're all delinquents? We're all criminals? Anybody that's driven on tram tracks know that that's not fun. Yeah, okay, sure. Let's annoy the cop. Now, okay, little, you know, coin with the little logo on it, and, you know, accurate representation of Detroit roads right here. This car has some design issues. Briefly, I want to cover the things that annoy me. It's this corner right here. I do have experience in this. First time I went to college before I dropped out, I did automotive engineering and design. I actually won the Mercedes-Benz youth competition for design. So I know a thing or two when it comes to proportions, golden ratios, and all this. This car fails them. It's trying to take an existing platform and then shove as many design cues that are mismatched. One of them, this corner right here, looks goofy. It's way too long because there's no bumper. So this fender protrudes so far out. If you have the proportions of a 70 Charger, maybe, because the whole thing is longer, wider, and so on. Another issue is this entire greenhouse. The back goes way too far, but they made it a hatchback. This window is way too big. Everything slopes down. It's very Nissan GTR-like. And I think that was deliberate on their part. Again, slapping on the freaking giant screens. We like gauges. There's a reason even in airliners with glass cockpits, they have gauges. Okay, so the coin. And they're trying to hint, which, okay, fine, it's clever. The car stops on a dime. All right, so now we have a little bit of setting. We know it's 1910 Dodge Brothers facility. What they're not telling you is actually this is their bigger facility they just opened, a 24-acre. Shut up, Fratzonic. I'm talking here. And here are the Dodge Brothers. First of all, it's custom that you put the older brother first. John was older, but smaller. It was something I actually didn't know, and I'm not sure if it was that much of a difference between them. They're going on this old photo where there were two separate photos combined, and it's in the Chrysler archives. A lot of the data you're going to see here comes from the Chrysler archives. I don't know why they hate Horace so much, but they portray him like freaking Gomer pile.
What is that private pile?
Sir, jelly donuts, sir!
What side was that private pile?
Sir, right side, sir!
Dude, throughout this video, this guy is mouth agape, most of the time, like, duh. When this guy was the smart guy, John was the business savvy, the hard negotiator. But ultimately, they were inseparable. There's some tragic parts that Dodge is kind of glossing over. I don't know if I want to say disrespecting, but whoever made this video doesn't know Dodge history. I do like the fonts and all that, and of course, Timmy boy, you're not an actor, you're not a superstar. I know you're trying to insert yourself, whatever.
Holy Hamtramck, what is that, and who the hell are you?
I've seen better acting in Linda Lovelace movies.
I try, but I choke.
You have to learn to relax the muscles.
You gotta open your throat, relax the jaw.
Don't forget to cup the bull.
Holy Hamtramck.
Hamtramck is the town that they moved into.
Whoa, calm down, guys. I'm on your side. You can put down those wrenches. I'm on your team.
I'm on your team.
Okay. Damn, it wasn't easy getting here, and I don't have a lot of time.
Off the bat, I'm not in marketing, right? But I've bought a car or two, a lot of verbal judo. He's talking to us like we're a little bit dumb and like, oh, let me convince him I'm on your side when I'm really not. That's what I get out of this. Regardless of what the truth, what Kiniskis feels like, because I'm starting to feel that he's maybe not the worst guy, but he has zero control. It's all coming from Uberfuhrer Carlos Tavares. Literally, that means comrade. And he's acting like exactly a Soviet leader. And Dodge gets caught in the crossfire.
It wasn't easy getting here, and I don't have a lot of time. So here's the deal. You don't...
Now, is that a hint that he doesn't have a lot of time to get, he might be fired? Or is it the hint that he's going to be the CEO of Ram and leave Dodge? That could be one of the hints.
Here's the deal. You don't realize it yet, but you're at an extremely important decision point in your lives. Do you want to keep working for the system, or do you want to take on the system?
Dude. 1910. Everybody assumes that the Dodge brothers were working for Ford. No. In 1900, these guys started their machine shop, already had an established reputation of perfection, precision machining. By this point, in 1910, Dodge brothers were already in the automotive industry. They shifted their focus from bicycles to cars, building engines, transmissions, differentials, running gear. They already had a very lucrative contract with Ransom Olds, making the Oldsmobile Model R, the curved dash. This was the first best-selling car. Prior to that, everything was just a couple of, a car here to a wealthy banker or prince or some European royalty. 1902, they already were making 2,500 of them, all powered by Dodge. Ford comes around. 1903. Ford had a reputation of failing a lot of businesses. He already flopped twice big before. Everybody knew this. Dodge brothers knew this. They turned down the renewal contract for 1903 models for the Model R, and they worked with Ford. Why? These guys were smart, man. Ford owed them $7,000 in their contract. In the case of Ford going bankrupt, which was very likely, that's what everybody expected, the Dodge brothers would own all of Ford's assets, factory machines and all that. These guys were counting on Ford failing. But hey, if he doesn't fail, we're making money anyways. By 1910, these guys had made that offer to get rid of that $7,000 debt. They say, hey, here Ford, take another $3,000, but in exchange, we get 10% of the stock. These guys were rolling in bank. So for Kiniskis to go back and talk to them like they're just still struggling and working hard and all that. No, they were they had their break already, their big break. They owned 10% of Ford. There was the second largest shareholder after Ford himself.
Well, I know what we need you to do, and I'm here to make sure you see why. Because we can't afford for you to back down. You're just a couple of incredibly ballsy moves away from ensuring your legacy and making history. And this...
Look at that face. They already made their ballsy moves. They own 10% of Ford. They were preparing to release their 1914 Model 30 touring sedan. They were making so much money. Ford was so furious. That's the reason why he increased wages to $5 an hour. He cut dividends, created a whole River Rouge plant just to drop the stock price, get at the Dodge brothers. And eventually they said, okay, fine, we'll sell the shares back to you. $25 million. That's a lot of money.
Is your future. I know it sounds crazy, and I swear to you, I haven't been drinking.
That's a joke in poor taste, man. Well, if you know the history,
you're going to want to get
disrespecting. It's disrespecting
Let's just say that
John.
You brothers created a brotherhood. You built something more than a car that made the guys across town mad.
Now he's talking about Ford, but that's in 1914. And within 6 months, that car became the number 3 best-selling car in North America. In 6 months!
You guys made your name on big city streets, back roads with moonshiners, and on the high banks of racetracks across America.
Yeah, okay, that's true. So much CGI. Okay, here's the part that got me, the rabbit hole. Back to the Future kind of vibe. There's a couple of things being thrown up on the walls as it drives, and each one I thought was kind of interesting, although they could have done so much more if whoever made this video knew Dodge, cared about Dodge, and cared in general about automotive history, because this is not just for Mopar gearheads. This is for the world. The Dodge brothers were so influential. They worked with Henry Leland, the guy that made Cadillac and Lincoln. They worked with Olds. They owned 10% of Ford, and most of the Model Ts were powered by Dodge. By 1914, 90% of the cars in the world were powered by a Dodge. Getting back to this video, there's a couple of cool little elements that I wanted to point out. So the first text you see is a year's growth in goodwill. That was a pamphlet that Dodge released after their first year of sales, 1914. It relates to the reputation Dodge had built, that they were precision engineered, perfect cars, reliable. Even the word dependable, they invented it. The Dodge brothers marketing came up with the term dependability because that was their reputation, and that's what they're talking about. A year's growth in goodwill. Over on the right, you see Dodge brothers motor car. Now they're all going to be on the left as the car pans around. Discover the difference in Dodge. This was the brand slogan for 1956. There's like a whole gap they're kind of skipping over, and for some reason they focus on 56 a lot. There were more slogans. There were a lot of cool ones too in all sorts of eras. Go past 56. This baby takes them all. Again, it was for the 1956 D100 Dodge, newspaper and magazine print ads. Performance is the word for Dodge. Now, this one was a toughie. I think it was for a specific newspaper because I can't find anything like the next one, Dodge Fever.
Dodge Fever.
If you've watched my episode about vintage car ads, you'll see Dodge Fever.
Dodge Fever.
1968, when they released the redesign for the Charger. Pretty girl and all that. In fact, I gotta show you this ad because this was Dodge in 69. Mother warned me that there would be men like you driving cars like that. Do you really think you can get to me with that long, low, tough machine you just rolled up in? Ha! If you think a girl with real values is impressed by your air conditioning and stereo, a 440 Magnum, whatever that is, well, it takes more than cushy bucket seats to make me flip. Charger RTSE sounds like alphabet soup. This is before modern meaning of alphabet soup.
FBI, open up!
Frankly, I'm attracted to you because you have a very intelligent face. My name's Julia. Join the fun. Catch Dodge Fever. I thought this was kind of cool. The Scat Pack was still a new thing. People need to know what's a Scat Pack. The cars with the bumblebee stripes. I would really like to do a full video. These kinds of ads, the print ads, they were spicier than TV. Let's face it, a lot of guys buy these cars just because they want to catch some tail. So going back to the video, now we're getting into the weird stuff that just doesn't really add up. Why pick this of all things? No more Mr. Nice Guy. After Dodge Fever, Chargers, Challengers, Polaras, 440 Magnums, and Sixpacks, we go into Dodge Omnis? GLH goes like hell. No more Mr. Nice Guy. Is this intimidating? Not really. I mean, yes, it's historic, but you're marketing, not doing a historical video. No more Mr. Nice Guy. They literally just cropped this out and adjusted it. They didn't just type it. They copied the JPEG. Then you get Pure Adrenaline, which again, with the trend of I'm not going to look into other years, I'm just a little dumb intern and I don't know what to... They still say in 1985, Pure Adrenaline misspelled. Somebody actually commented this. Whoever was in charge of time warp speed at whatever, you misspelled adrenaline. So actually, I'm being that guy. Technically, they didn't make the mistake. They just copied the ad campaign that was in 1985 where they misspelled it. Pure Adrenaline. And this was was for, you know, the Daytona Turbo Z. If you have this now in nice condition, I'm going to look at it. It's cool, but back then I would take the Camaro or the Mustang hands down. And in the same period, you had Dodge, an American Revolution. Wait a minute. Anybody remember this in 2010? Obviously, Chevy may have ripped off Dodge from 85. This is a 2010 around the Transformers, Camaro, and all that. But why would you use it now in 2024? This was used for a long time. My mind went to Chevy when I saw an American Revolution. Also, the George Washington ad.
Cars and freedom.
But that's not politically correct, I guess. You know, patriotism.
Look, the Dodge name became known for standout design and performance.
So they're going to show you a couple of cars that were pivotal. And obviously, they start with the first one, the Model 30 touring sedan built from 1914 to 1918.
The name Dodge, your name.
And one thing that was super cool about this, it was an all-metal design. It was even before aircraft were typically inspired cars. Planes were still being made with wooden spars and fabric covering. And most of the cars in the world were still built that way. So having an all-metal design was cutting edge. It had more power than the Ford, better reliability, better mileage, better, you know, off-road endurance. I can go on forever. Like, especially in this area, World War I is kicking off. This car was the first army vehicle used in, you know, chasing down banditos in the, you know, war with Pancho Villa.
100 years from now has become
now we got a
synonymous
1956
with
custom
baddest,
loyal,
quickest, fastest.
Custom loyal.
Dodgiest.
Hold on, I'm not gonna let that slide. No.
Quickest, fastest. Dodgiest.
Who would make fun of their own name like that? Especially with the meaning of dodgy. Don't be dodgy. Oh, that's such a dodgy thing. They've turned what it means to be a Mopar gearhead into a caricature. That somehow we're all dumb meatheads that drink Monster Energy, you know, do Klingon headbutts to each other and high five.
But right now, we're under attack. Your legacy is under attack.
So this is obviously a 68 Charger RT.
We need your help, spiritually, of course, to fight the system, not to comply, but to compete. Because regardless of...
There you got a 69 Charger Daytona. That's the winged car, the aero car.
what kind of power that propels us, this brand must always be pushed forward by the energy and attitude.
Okay, so here we have a 70 Challenger TA package with the 340 and a 6-pack.
By the energy and attitude you guys instilled in us.
2015, that's what I think. This is a Hellcat. I thought it would be use a Demon. It's a narrow body 2015, which, yeah, makes sense because that kicked off the whole massive horsepower race. Actually, I think this may be a 16. Yeah, it's a 16 because in 15 they didn't have the satin hood option yet. If I'm wrong, correct me, but I think 16 was the first year. This is a weird combo car, man.
This next generation Charger
has the Brembo brakes painted in red.
There's proof of that. It's fueled by the Brotherhood, but powered by lithium.
The Elixir?
And this is the thing that got me. It's like, dude. So before they moved into the new facility, so obviously before 1910, Jod had contracted tuberculosis from working in these, you know, dirty factories, a lot of soot. And the cure was this thing called Elixir 130. This was alcohol, strychnine in it. Yes, that kind of strychnine phosphate to be exact, and some iron quinine. Early 20th century medicine was worse than the Wild West, worse than the snake oil salesman, because this is when you had Bayer aspirin that was freaking, you know, heroin, and Coca-Cola had cocaine in it. So it was the mad ages. That tuberculosis is ultimately what contributed and led to his death. To make a joke about that, the Elixir, obviously you're commenting on it, you're acknowledging this happened, and you're mocking it almost. I don't know what the point of this. Obviously the actors don't know, and the director doesn't know. They just had a script, somebody introduced this, and it comes off as
No. We did the car that runs on alcohol last year.
See, it almost feels like they just want to introduce alcohol, and some intern glanced over the history, saw with the corner of his eyes Elixir alcohol. John became an alcoholic because of this. That's not a joke, man. Like, it affected him for the rest of his life. I mean, we're talking a heavy drinker. And he didn't drink before, but because of his medicine, this was the result. And somebody that got screwed up in the very similar way with medications that now I need to take for the rest of my life. It's not a freaking joke.
I'm talking about batteries driving electric drive motors to deliver instant torque to all four wheels.
Blah, blah, blah.
The combination is going to redefine what it means to never lift and push.
Never lift, right? Seems like you did drop the V8 though. Or maybe that was too heavy because, you know, bro, do you even lift for the brotherhood? If we're going to be meatheads, what the meatheads do, we also work out and we lift weights. We lift heavy weights. I guess Ford is picking up that slack. After 100 years, I guess Ford does get the last laugh.
The performance of this new Dodge muscle car beyond any conventional no prep muscle car.
No prep muscle car. They're basically telling you that this is a prepper car. This is a poser car. This is a female car. You don't have to worry about burning through tires or replacing brakes. I gotta do the oil changes or any of this stuff. Not just no prep. Not to mention it's an EV. Are you gonna keep this thing more than 5 years? 10, 20, 40? Hell no. Where are you going to replace the batteries? Because these things do not last. When you got a phone like this, like mine is, I can still remove the battery. I can't find them. Even if I want to replace it, I can't find them. So when this thing is done, I'm done with phones. All that means is that these cars are disposable, just like I talk in this video. These lithium-ion batteries, this technology is not meant for these cars to have any soul. They're an appliance.
Most people think electric cars are supposed to save the planet. Electric cars are supposed to be green and politically correct. So this thing must be super efficient and environmentally friendly, right? I don't know, maybe.
No, I don't know, maybe. You had a whole team calculating these things and trying to get everything out of it you could. Stop acting like it's, oh, I don't care about that stuff. That's your entire directive. You went electric because of environmental, you know, cult.
But that was never the point. The point was that they told us we couldn't sell Hemis. But
they being who? Stellantis. Comrade Carlos.
Never told us that we had to be boring and slow.
You are
so
boring.
We took the rules, found the gray areas, and used them. Used them against them to build a muscle car, to build a Dodge.
When they say use that against them, I have a feeling that we're the them. We'll use it against them, the Mopar Brotherhood.
Muscle car, and slide it under the wire that the regulators threw down in front of us.
No regulators.
Like spike strips on the highway.
And again with the spike strips, like you're trying to appeal to the underworld, to the street takeover crowd, which we're trying to separate ourselves from that, and you throw that in. We already got one cop that's looking like, oh, I'm going to pull that guy over.
Look, everything that is cool about this car, from the R-wing design that doesn't look like a typical battery electric melted jelly bean, to the 325 rear tires, to the E-Rup transmission, and most importantly,
okay, so they got to do something that's, 325 tires.
Ultra high performance 550 kilowatt discharge rate. All work together to ensure maximum acceleration. But herd efficiency. And normally you would never do things like that. But when was the last time anyone calculated the fuel economy of their muscle car?
The number you have dialed is not in service at this time.
We all do. We're in tune with our machines. This is a fundamental gap, a canyon between them and us. They don't get us. They don't understand us. I have documents and paperwork with every fill up, and I calculate it all because that change in mileage tells me something's wrong. I gotta, look into the carb. What's going on?
Yeah, they never did. That's not why they bought it. And that's not why anyone will buy the new Charger Daytona. They're going to buy it because of the stunning stop-you-in-your-track styling.
Compared to what we had before, this is not stunning. Now, if you're coming from a Nissan Leaf, sure.
Redefining performance. The 400-volt Scat Pack charger.
You don't get to redefine performance. That is arrogance. Performance is. If anything, the buyers, we define what is performance, what we care about. Because if I like how wide the angle the door opens, this is the widest opening door in class. I don't care about that. None of us do. We define what it is.
Charger Daytona will put out over 670 horsepower and over 600 pound-feet of instant torque, transferred through a selectable all-wheel drive system.
Now, the all-wheel drive is cool.
It's going to out-accelerate today's red-eye supercharged V8.
Receipts. Prove it first. Right now, this car, the no prep, whatever, the Spec King, ask that guy at Cars and Coffee that just sits there. I'm like, well, actually, my car has far more horsepower than yours. And, let's prove it. Let's race. Oh, you don't race. The soccer moms, the Karens out there just want to brag to their friends. Look at what I got in my driveway while they're having the little wine and book club and all that. And I'm a cool single mom. You see, I have a Charger.
And I'm not even talking about the 800-volt SRT Banshee system yet.
Of course.
Look.
And you don't want to, and this is a rumor that was brought up to me. The reason why these cars are not being all released, they're releasing these late because the dealers want to keep markups on the last call 2023s, all the Chargers, all the Challengers, all the red eyes and jailbreaks and all that. So if you have a bunch of these cars, that's going to eat into sales. Same reason why these cars will have stage 1 standard, which on an electric car,
we define monetizable as the revenue captured within the car's first 5 years of life through our services and subscriptions. If the past was about increasing margins by moving customers north in hardware and trim levels, our future is about offering customers software-based services.
Dodge is a software company. That's what stage kits mean nowadays. They're not mechanically changing anything. It's the same car, just boop, boop, boop. And they're going to make a mention to this later on in the video, which again, I find insulting to guys that their passion was machinery, machining, steam engines, and gasoline engines. They didn't care about anything else. In fact, they were so in love with just the concept of these machines that I think it was Horace. Yeah, Horace. He was big into that. That's right. Yes, he was into speedboats, literal speedboats. You could have made that joke. That would have been funny, and it's true because they're big. They're big cars. They're boats. By the way, T-shirt link in the description. Help me out.
The bottom line is, this is not the electric car that they want the Brotherhood to have.
Like one of the comments, forgot who it said, this is exactly the car they want us to have. Horrible range. You can't go anywhere cross country. A little 15-mile city or 15-minute city. That's perfect for that. You can't go over 137 miles an hour. Scat Pack and Banshee will be 134. Like, dude, my Grand Marquis will whoop its butt on the highway. Like, come on. This is exactly what they want you. And with a click of a button, they can change it. Somebody else was like one of those freaking sheep. Oh, they can just change it over the air updates. You think they're going to give you more freedom? I'm selling some stuff, including the Brooklyn Bridge. I'll give you a special price just for you.
This is a Dodge. This is an electric muscle car that will make the rule makers, the suits, and the lawyers wish they hadn't had a kale smoothie for lunch when they launched this thing.
What's a kale smoothie?
I don't really know.
Yeah, guarantee you these people, that's where, like, I wouldn't even know to make that joke. So they're actually alienating the kind of people that are into EVs with this kind of joke.
But you don't want one. What you will want,
this steering wheel, this is the Ram outline for the logo. You put it in the Dodge.
Is the Charger Daytona's game-changing interior with more trick tech. It delivers
Trick tech.
best-in-class rear cargos.
Trick tech. The 90s want their lingo back, just like their Need for Speed graphics.
Best-in-class rear cargo space with a rear hatch and full flat seats. You're going to get muscle car design and UV-like cargo carrying capacity.
I don't know what a UV, ultraviolet, that's what I know UV to be. They're marketing it towards soccer moms. Nobody that wants a muscle car gives a rat's patootie, I guess I'm bringing that one back, about hatch and cargo carrying
capacity. The thing is amazing. But what could be even better than a muscle coupe with UV capability and the functionality of a hatch? Well, easy. A 4-door with all that as well. Yes, the Charger Daytona will be available as a 2-door coupe and the 4-door sedan hatch.
This is not a sedan then it's a 5-door hatchback. A large one, but it's still hatchback. I can't stand when car makers do this. Mercedes was doing this with 4-door coupes. Unless it's a 4-door chicken coupe. Oh, now we're just throwing names and all that. Like, you know, the idea of 2-door, 4-door, fine. That's cool. And it doesn't desecrate the Challenger name, you know, with this crap. So dodge the bullet for now.
With the same wide body stance that will put the passive world on notice. And what else puts the passive world on notice is our Fratzonic chambered exhaust system. It screams as loud as...
Fratzonic. It just makes me think of, you know, a bunch of frat boys partying way too hard, and it was one of those burps. Yeah, that's a Fratzonic one.
Supercharged V8s. Whether you opt for the 496 horse RT or the 670 horsepower Scat Pack, or later, the SRT Banshee, every Charger carries the Dodge torch when it comes to touching.
Stop! Don't touch me there. This is my no-no swear.
All the senses.
Again, I could go into the seats, the The taillights look like the previous version of the Charger.
Look, I know most people don't know the history. They don't know.
You don't even know the history. If you did, you wouldn't make frickin' Elixir jokes because the Dodge brothers died 10 years after this moment. Supposedly, 1910, they both died in the same year. January 2nd, 1920, they go to the New York Auto Show. They catch the Spanish flu. John was on Horace's deathbed. They thought he was going to die. He actually makes a recovery just in time for John to fall ill. And on January 14th, it was like after 10 days, John dies. And after that, Horace was like, you know, I don't care. Because John was there camping at the side of his bed for his brother. Now that's brotherhood. Yeah, this is the kind of stuff that they're making they're glossing over, where these are the moments you want to feel like you're part of something. Well, that's how you make somebody feel like they're part of it. That kind of loyalty that you can't just buy because you bought something with the freaking plastic name tape stuck to it.
That there actually were electric cars before gas cars, and don't know that you guys dedicated your lives to coming up with something better than battery electric vehicles over 100 years ago. So you've got to be wondering why we've come full circle. Well, these electric Dodges are like time machines. They can take you back while launching you forward
Maybe they can take you back to 1982 Moscow.
At the same time. This is more than a direct descendant of your origin story. It's a direct connection to the spirit of the past.
Gotta say direct connection, gotta plug in those keywords.
While powering this brand into tomorrow. Oh yeah, that was...
Let's hear that again, please.
Oh yeah, that was...
Oh yeah, that sounds awful. That's a straight 6. That's the twin turbo.
Wasn't the sound of the Fratzonic chamber in the...
So even here, hold on, look, there's so much in this little part here. There's so much that I can't just ignore it.
Oh yeah, that wasn't the sound of the Fratzonic chamber in the Banshee.
He's acknowledging that the Fratzonic sucks. Oh no, that's not the shitty little Fratzonic. No, this is a real internal combustion engine.
That was the scream of the most power-dense internal combustion engine Dodge ever installed in a muscle car.
So you can see here how long this looks. It's really goofy looking.
2025, the all-new Charger will also be available as a 6-pack with the twin-turbo Hurricane. Standard output hits the streets with 420 horsepower, and the HO spins the dyno to 550 horsepower.
So they divide the 6-pack into the regular output, or standard SO, standard output, and HO, high output, which is all tuning over the air. Like I said, Dodge is a software company now.
Software-based services.
But these aren't old school engines. No, these Hurricanes embody everything that we've learned about piston power since the doors of the Dodge Brothers shop first swung open. Twin turbos that perform like they're constantly spooled. And a driveline that houses an 8-speed transmission and an all-wheel drive system standard.
Check out Butter the Insider's video on that. He actually goes into a lot of depth. I'm not going to cover things twice. I know a lot of you guys watched him as well. A lot of good info there.
So we also let you turn it off and tear it up like a traditional rear-wheel drive muscle.
Which is not true. Apparently, at least that's what I've heard. You can do the turning off for the higher trims, the electric ones, but for the all-wheel drive internal combustion cars, you can't.
Muscle car. This is what a brand can build when you're always building on a promise to never lift. This is what happens when you work to deliver never before, again and again.
Sorry, this is not delivering. This is delivering to your overlords at Stellantis.
This is a story of American ingenuity.
And none of this is American, because this is the Stella Large platform, an international multinational conglomerate that came up with this, designed in 7 continents, including Antarctica, yes.
That runs from right now straight back to your shop, which is where we need to go, because you've got work to do, a legacy to cement, to build a foundation and a bridge to the future.
It's not the kind of bridge they want to cross. Hold on. Doesn't that look like Knight Rider to you? That's a GM thing. Look, this angle looks like a nice luxury sedan. I can see this, quiet, smooth, whatever. But as a muscle car,
the ride is over, but it's also just getting started. So thank you for this
Look at the way he says thank you.
So thank you for this bloodline of ingenuity, for this brotherhood for writing the source code.
Software-based services.
The source code. Software-based services. I don't know. Like I said, I'm trying to not hate on Tim. I don't know. It just seems like this is almost mocking, or it is so badly done, so poorly directed, and obviously he's not an actor. The guy can't act to save his life. The source code, really? Yeah, I get it. You want to be a software company. You want to be Apple.
Because it's not yet time for your legacy to go. It's go time for the next generation of Dodge muscle.
No, that's not muscle. Like I said, that looks like a nice little sedan, luxury and all that. And again, making Horace look like he's a freaking moron. Look at that face. Bad directing. Horace was a genius. He invented bearings. He invented different machining techniques. This guy was a genius. And they were not, in 1910, they were not going back to work with wrenches. They were already the bosses. They owned 10% of Ford, for crying out loud. That's like one of the big things. I guarantee you they looked in, probably saw a Wikipedia page. Oh, they work for Ford. Yeah, they worked for Ford as a contractor supplying engines and transmissions and parts while owning 10%. So for everything they sold, they were getting like double whammy pay. The Dodge brothers are exactly the kind of people that Stellantis hates. They were going to bars, drinking with their own employees like it was nothing, getting into bar fights. There was this one country club, Gross Hills Country Club. Of course, they said, no, thank you for your application, but you're not welcome. What did the brothers do? Bought the property right next door, built this mega mansion, twice as big as the country club, and put 10, 12 garages, all facing the country club, and just had it running with engines and race cars 24/7 just to piss them off. Our kind of people, But they don't get it. I don't think Tim gets it either. Business, marketeers, and all that, they just don't get it. The idea may have started as a okay, now you're gonna see like, oh, Dodge and Hemi are registered trademarks of FCA. Yeah. What's the point? Oh, man. They're not making history unless the history is Dodge disappearing. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about this whole ad, what it makes you feel, and if there's any other little tidbits, Easter eggs, or historical notes that you found. I did think it was interesting they put a lot of those little tidbits. Cool. But it just feels very forced, very fake, very corporate. And that's the problem. So I'm Alex. This is Rip Roaring Garage, where oil is thicker than blood. Hemi that like. And I hope you have a great day. When Dodge is making Dodges, Dodge buyers, Dodgy dealers. Dodgy Dodge dealers. When Dodge, this is going to be killing me. That was just announced, particularly particularly nuclear.
Came home for